What's up, dudes?
Hello, hello.
How you guys doing? Everybody okay?
Yes, good to see you guys here. Who's on the Ateam account? Kamet, is that you or
Yeah, that's me. I'm on the I jumped in there.
cool, cool,
I'm the I'm the A team account hog.
cool. So please also
Fine, man.
joining.
Do what
So
now?
please also joining the call. Do you know?
I don't know if he's joining or not. I'm not I think he's just now like maybe getting off work or something.
I see. Okay, I see Diligent Deer is here. We can put him up. And if you want to make
Yeah.
maybe crypto profit or myself or yourself on the personal account as a co-host, so in case anything,
Sure.
you can also do it. And that's a
Do
fun
that.
talk. Very nice to see you here, Diligent Deer. Will be getting you up as a speaker in a minute.
Yeah, I sent you an invite, Diligent Deer. Let's see if there he is. Diligent Deer, what's up, man?
Hey, what's up? Am I audible enough?
Yeah. We can hear you. We can hear you loud and clear.
Yeah, happy to hear that.
How's life in your neck of the woods? What time of day is it there?
So it is 10:30 p.m. right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, man, we're gonna catch you right before bedtime then. This will be a fun way to wind down the day then for you.
Yeah, but actually I do follow Eastern time. So Eastern time. So that's the thing.
Okay.
Residing in some other country, but following some other time.
Man, that sounds like that's kind of a tough schedule. Like that, does that screw with your sleep schedule any? I mean,
Yeah. I mean, I don't have a proper sleep schedule, so kind of getting it messed up every now and then.
well, join the club, man. I haven't been able to sleep well ever. I haven't been able to sleep well ever since like the pandemic, and I don't know if it's just stress in life in general or the bear market or what. But like, I wake up at like 2 in the morning, and it's just I'm wide awake. I can't go back to sleep. That's just
You
personal problems I love to share with you guys.
happy
Uh,
to hear that. Happy to
uh,
hear that I'm not the one who is, sleep deprived.
yeah, I think that's everybody.
Yep.
I have yet to meet a grown adult that feels like they're getting enough sleep in their life. So
Yeah, me too.
I yeah, it's just par for the course, man. And I apologize if my voice sounds a little off. There's a lot of pollen and dust in the air here where I am. I'm in Texas, and so there's just a lot of dust and pollen in the air, and so I'm like dying here. So I'm like, hopefully my voice holds up throughout this space.
Yeah, I mean, I can hear you nice and clean, so no issues here.
Perfect. Well, I don't, I think folks are just going to kind of trickle in, and so we got DeFi Advisor and Crypto Profit, fellow members of the A team here
Yeah,
to chit chat with you and kind of learn a little bit about you, and I guess we can go ahead and get this thing started. DeFi Advisor, Crypto Profit, you guys got anything you want to toss out there to start off with? I mean, just to say hello and whatnot.
For sure. First of all, Diligent Deer, very nice to have you on. Very excited to talk to you for the first time, and for sure, we would like you to, I believe, first of all, like feel free to tell us a bit about yourself, how you got involved maybe in crypto in general. What did you do before, or what do you also do with your time? And then maybe we can start talking about how you became involved with Aladdin and whatever. But first, feel free to share about yourself.
yeah, man, sure. And glad to have been talking with you guys on this Twitter space. So, I'm 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 a mechanical engineer. So uh, I would say before 4 years, I didn't knew anything about stock markets or crypto or exchanges, anything of that sort. So it was a general curiosity back then to know about how market functions. So it was just a hobby, I would say. So I get into the stock markets, learned a thing or two, and then I got a job at a reactor manufacturing company, and I had a pretty good experience of around 1.5 years or so in that particular company. So it was more focused on manufacturing and design thing. So the abilities, to perform analysis and data, I would say that strengthened me in that aspect. And coming to the crypto part, when I left my job, I would say it was in May of of last year. Okay, so back then I didn't knew anything about DeFi. So I'm not even 1 year old, I would say, in DeFi ecosystem. So in the May,
Holy smokes, man.
yeah. So how I
What is savage?
yeah, I started with, you know, the market was pretty hyped up at that particular time because the market was rolling down, I guess. The market was falling very hard. So I started
So you
looking
got,
into, yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, you got involved in the bear market. That's where you got started with crypto in the bear market.
Yeah, I would say so because I guess
Wow.
in the May of last year, the market were not looking good, right? Right?
Hmm.
Yeah, that's so. Me starting my crypto journey has almost zero relation to how market was performing. So it was a general curiosity back then because I was interested in how stock market ran. Uh, I, I kind of intrigued on how crypto used to run because it was a lot of tech around this particular thing, right? So I started digging in how Bitcoin works. So back then, I wrote an article on how actually Bitcoin worked on the the things that we don't see, how the transaction were formulated, how the chain was getting built on, and then I remember I downloaded the whole Maker white paper and dig in the concepts. I mean, how is this functioning? How the DeFi is functioning. So I was less concerned about how markets were performing, or let's say trading, but I was more focused on what was the tech behind all of that. So that's how. So first of all, it was make Bitcoin, then it was Maker, and then eventually I jumped into AMMs, that is Uniswap V2, V3, and then Curve. So that's
That's amazing
how,
to me
yeah,
that,
yeah.
yeah, that's amazing to me that you. So I guess around the time you got involved would be when Lunaterra
Yeah,
was
exactly.
basically
Yes,
blowing up.
yes.
I mean, did that capture your attention? I'm
Yeah,
kind of
it did.
curious, like as someone from the outside, what you thought of that.
Yeah, I did saw a lot of tweets going around that something was happening in that crypto space, but uh, based on what I was knowing, it literally meant nothing for me. I would say I can only gauge it something bad was happening in the DeFi space, but I didn't have the scale, the idea of the scale that was getting impacted.
So as someone who was, you kind of see this happening. I mean, is it when you get involved, it's basically just from a technical perspective
Hmm.
of sort of you're not really caring about like sort of number go up, the price of, you're not trying to like make degen bets or anything like that.
Yes,
Is that correct?
yes, yes,
Yeah, you
yes.
weren't trying to like short everything to zero.
No,
Okay, that's
yeah.
that's inter- I I would love to know, and I don't know this will ever be like any sort of data set we'll ever actually know, but um like like the proportion of people who join crypto in a bull market versus those that join in a bear market, like it's got to be like astronomically in favor of the people that join in a bull market. And so that's absolutely fascinating to me that you joined like in May of last year and have got yourself up to speed on just an incredible amount of information in such a short period of time. I mean, you're like the ultimate right curve, 180 IQ, guy, just absorbing all this data. So, and to go from Bitcoin to Maker, and so I guess so. When did you get involved with like with really kind of like playing around with DeFi? Was it when you got involved with Maker?
Yeah, after I was researching the Uniswap, so that's when I first sent ETH on a MetaMask wallet. So that was the first time. Actually, what the thing is, like you were telling about 180 IQ level, right? So when I started my DeFi journey, and even now, I believe you guys have a lot more information and a lot more experience than what I do right now.
I would not bet any amount of money on that, though.
I would bet.
I would actually take the other side of that bet if I can. If there's any betting market on this one, I will definitely take it.
Yeah, that's the safe bet. Good for you, DeFi advisor.
Actually, I'm curious to know how much time are you guys have been in DeFi?
I think crypto profits been in the longest of all of us. Isn't that right, Crypto Profit? You've been around for like since 2014, isn't that right?
Yeah, man, since before DeFi was DeFi, actually.
Wow.
Since 2014. It was really crazy. So
Yeah.
much happened. I don't know what to say about it. Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, at that point, you were basically just buying tokens and just holding on to them, right? I mean, I guess it'd be just Bitcoin
Um,
or Litecoin,
yeah,
stuff like that.
yeah, like mostly stacking sats and then indeed some Litecoin. And then you also had this thing called Namecoin. And it was like the idea was that it was going to be like ENS, but on Bitcoin. So it's like since 2014, I'm like buying some shitcoin, hoping ENS exists. Which is really ridiculous if you think about it.
But
Um,
how did you came across knowing that something called Bitcoin exists or something called Litecoin exists?
uh, for for me, I was like before 2014, I was actually pretty regular poker player in quite some high stakes rooms. And then in 2013, you had the American government shutting down a lot of online poker rooms and a lot of money getting like stuck in limbo.
Okay.
And then, then basically the entire poker industry learned about Bitcoin in like no time.
Wow.
Because our money was just seized by the American government, which was ridiculous. We ended up getting it back, but yeah, they were just like, okay, online poker is illegal. All of your money is now unavailable to you. So this was like, okay, you need to have self-custody, you need to have, and I was also kind of in economics major a few years before that, and then I really had a lot of criticism in the 2008 great financial crisis on the economics of banks. So then when I saw the Bitcoin white paper, I was like, okay, this is really kind of an antidote against this, or like an
Mm-hmm.
anti-power, you could say,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so yeah, and basically from then I'm just like full believer all the way. Like honestly, fuck fiat, just
Yeah.
full in. But yeah, it's basically the combo of those things. I think, like being alive in the financial crisis of '08 and being a poker player while the American government seized the money. And then everybody was like, okay, Bitcoin is way better. Let's Bitcoin.
That's
Yeah,
amazing to hear.
I feel like Crypto Profit is like best poised for sort of like knowing what to do with Operation Choke Point 2.0. I'm just gonna follow his lead, whatever he winds up doing.
Yeah. I actually like Curve as a counter to this, to be honest. You
Yeah.
know, I really like Curve. It's like my favorite anti-choke pointing. So stack Curve on like 100 ledgers, hide ledgers everywhere over the world. You'll be fine.
Yeah.
No, but it's also really interesting to hear that you're only here for a short time, actually, Diligent Deer, because I feel like your name says it all. You do very diligent work, actually. Like, because of my poker background, I sometimes get a feel for it, and then I like decide based on like 70% accuracy, you could say, instead of doing more work. And I feel like with you, it's like 100% spot on, but probably also takes a lot longer to get to conclusions, you know. But I like it.
Thanks, man.
Are you like an engineer or something in real life, or something
Yeah.
theoretically based? Yeah, okay.
Not fully theoretical based, but yes, you are right on the engineering part. I'm a mechanical engineer.
So,
it makes sense.
how did you get the name Diligent Deer? I mean, what is that? I mean, how did you come up with that? I'm kind of curious.
So that's a funny story actually. So what I was doing back then is I operate on multiple email IDs, and so I always fumble on what email ID name should I pick, right? So I came up with a system that uses an adjective and a name of any mammal or an animal. That's it. So I do operate an ID with Dazzling Deer as well, and this one was Diligent Deer because I was focused more on research. So I was picking an adjective that resembles more to the research part or analytical part. So diligent was the first thing that came to my mind, and I stuck with it. The deer part was, I don't know, I somehow went to a website, and it was basically to assess a personality, and they call they actually named my personality as a deer. So that's all. I mixed both the things.
Look, you can admit you were doing a Harry Potter quiz to find out what your Patronus was. We're all. That's pretty cool, though. I mean, so it's kind of just random then, for the most
Yeah,
part. I mean,
I would agree.
okay,
Yes.
that's interesting. So, okay, so how did you wind up getting involved with Aladdin DAO? How did that come across your radar?
Actually, my journey to Aladdin DAO went through me getting into the Llama risk and me getting an opportunity to work on the Clever protocol. So CLEV tokens back then. So that was my research topic, and that's how I knew about Aladdin, Concentrator, and Clever.
Can you maybe before that expand on how you got into doing that for the Llama risk, and then we
Yeah,
go
yeah,
like we do it
yep,
more chronologically?
yep, sure. So in my journey, you guys already know, right? I started from Bitcoin Maker, then Uniswap V2, V3, and then Curve. So while I was researching about Curve, I won't say published, but uh, I released a research paper that suggests what should be the CRV price for a constant APY, right, for X amount of years. So that particular research was picked on by a lot of good names on crypto Twitter, and uh, one
You
of
did
the
it simply on Twitter, DiligentDeer? You posted it? Maybe you can also, if you have the link, you can maybe share it on the replies to the states. I would think people will definitely be happy to see some of your earliest work and what you actually say started your whole involvement with crypto risk and then with Aladdin as well.
Yeah, man, sure. Do you want me to put the link right now, or will it be good
If you
if
can,
I put?
Whenever you feel like to. It's amazing to hear. Also, honestly, I'm stunned that you say that you're less than a year in crypto. Like you're so deep into it, and for me, it's definitely a big surprise, and I'm fascinated to hear what you got to say.
Well, actually, I do get this particular reaction a lot of time when I talk uh, with people in crypto. So I would take it as a compliment.
Just to summarize, so you basically sent out some sort of like a tweet or something that caught the attention of the Llama Risk people. Is that correct?
Yeah. Let me expand on that. So
Yes.
when I released a research on this particular CRV price and the constant APR thing, then I approach Garrett, that is Curve Cap, on Twitter. That would you be comfortable to release this particular research as a guest post? So I basically proposed that if you think this particular thing will provide value to your audience, I would like uh, this particular post to be a guest post on your newsletter. So that's how I made him. I made up to him, and eventually, uh, he liked the way I researched the whole thing, and uh, he made me introduced to the llamas. So I would say uh, uh, the position I am at right now, major credit goes to Kercap.
He's the
Man,
goat, man. He's the goat, and I now
Yeah,
remember that he made an article because I was following him, and I remember that definitely the first time I've heard about you, Diligent Deer, was when CurveCap shared something that you did for the risk team. Honestly, I think it was for me personally. I think it was the first time I've heard of the crypto risk team as well.
yeah.
And I'm not surprised to hear that. And please go on. Like that's amazing to hear.
yeah.
Yeah. So he's basically the Superman of my career trajectory in DeFi. Yes, and that's how I eventually met Fiddy. Then I met Wormhole Oracle and other people on the team on Llama Risk. And the first article that I worked on was the Maker Die and Game plan. So basically, they were planning
Mm,
to free float the die and move ahead on that particular plan. So it was more or less on the planning stage. It is still like that only. So I had a good experience on that particular research, and actually the team liked how I approached the research, and that's how I got the continuous, uh, research topics, I would say.
so had you done like research into stocks similarly or anything like that?
Yes, I would say, but not in the depth that I am currently researching DeFi protocols.
Right.
Yeah, it is more or
So
less, going through the financial statements. That's all.
right. So like when you and the team, like, well, first of all, like, how do you guys decide what projects are going to be reviewed?
Yeah, okay. So the first thing is, if some X protocol team approaches the Curve Governance Forum to get a gauge, so that's basically uh, one way from where we get research topics or know the protocol to research. The another one is if some protocol is very unique and they have a pool on Curve, so we dwell into it and we try to research it for the LPs. The another path is if some protocol is planning to get a gauge but haven't yet approached or put up a forum post, but they have met us. So these are the three basically the channels that we get our lists.
That's amazing, man. Like, and how big is the Llama Risk team itself? How many folks are on it?
Yeah, actually we have 7 to 8 guys, and we are pretty much expanding whenever possible.
Man, that is, I gotta say, like, that's an amazing testament to, in at least in DeFi, of just, the old saying, like, success is 90% showing up. and just like taking the initiative and reaching out to folks and providing content, really,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
valuable content too on top of it.
100%.
That's a yeah, that's absolutely amazing. So when you get one of these projects, and DeFi Advisor, Crypto Profit, feel free to jump in or whatever if you got something. But I'm just going down my list here of questions. But when you guys get a project and you choose one, how do you start reviewing it? Like, what is the? I wouldn't even know where to begin. What do you guys do?
So I would say what I do, right? So I basically focus on yield generating or leverage based products. So the only research I did, which was not this particular way, was MakerDAO. And after MakerDAO, every research was focused on the projects that were based on yield and yield based products or leverage products. So I tend to focus more on what are the permissions that the team have, what changes to those things can impact the variables, right? And what market can do to manipulate that, the particular mechanism that the protocol is currently having. So these are the broad things, I would say. And one of the important thing is, if protocol is relying on another protocol. So if this is true, I need to follow basically all the steps for that particular protocol as well.
I see what you're saying. So if a protocol, say like Clever, relies on like the curve pool for say Clev
Hmm.
CVX, then you
Yeah.
have to take that into account in terms of the immutability of the contracts of Curve and the A parameters within that pool and things like that. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, yeah. So basically, there are two parts, right? The one part is how the team is governing all of the mechanism, and the another part is how the market governs the whole mechanism part. So the first one is pretty easy to crack it down because you got smart contracts, you got the data on if what parameters team can change and how it can impact. So this is, I would say, a bit easier when you do it continuously. So, and the other part is how market will impact the mechanisms. So to gauge how market would react, the first thing I ask is, what is the incentive for a particular behavior that the protocol is providing, and why it is incentivized, why this particular behavior is incentivized, right? For any incentivized behavior, there are risk involved, or there is some cost attached to it. So I try to find it out.
Okay. Wow. And so just with understanding the smart contracts and the risks involved there, have you like had to teach yourself both Solidity and Viper?
I won't say yes, but so I don't basically code, and I'm very bad at coding, I would say.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I would imagine you'd have to have like some level of knowledge to basically understand, that you're looking at some sort of a function. I'm not saying that like you could, debug a reentrancy, flaw or something like that, but at least like recognizing that, something's a proxy contract or what parameters are variable within that, right? Or you can correct me.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So basically, the things that are based on codes, there are comments usually that I rely on when I read through codes. And if I suspect anything, I would usually approach Nose, that is one of the team member, and or Wormhole Oracle. These guys are super friendly, and they help me out each and every step. If I'm confused on something or if I'm stuck at something, these are the guys that I approach.
Okay, so
yeah,
it really does take a whole team.
yeah, I would say yes. So
Okay.
at the start at starting, you feel that I won't know anything or it would be hard, but as you go on with researching projects after projects, it get easier. So that there will be less burden on other teammates as well.
That's incredible. And so you've probably like, how many projects have you reviewed with Llama Risk?
So the first one was Maker, and the next one was, I guess, for chicken bonds. Then I made a BTC dashboard, the Clever USV, yeah, and actually I don't have a track of it, but these are the research that I am currently remembering.
So were you? I mean, do you have a role like whenever Llama Risk releases a review, risk
Hmm.
analysis? Have you like somehow touched it in any way? Like you might not be like the main person, but like you've reviewed it or proofread it or contributed in some fashion.
So how it works is, there are few reviewers, right? So these reviewers do allocate the task to other team members as well, and other team members are open to review any of the ongoing research or the research articles at the final stage. So I would say there is no hierarchy, but you can take a topic and you can work on it. Uh, but it is just that you need to ask the team that, okay, I'm working on this particular thing, or if you have something that I am supposed to work on, please provide something. And basically it is all independent from that point, and it only being shared when it is getting reviewed. So I would say it is a team effort after all.
Can I ask something,
Yeah,
DiligentDeer?
yeah,
Like,
sure,
is
sure.
the Llama Risk team paid? Like, who funds it? How does it go? Is it voluntary? Like, how do you get compensated financially for your time, if at all?
Yeah. So right now, we are getting grants from the Curve protocol itself, via we fund our cage.
And it's not a full-time job for any of you. Is that a correct assumption?
Yes, correct.
Okay. And so how long does it take to do one of these risk reports?
It does depend on how much work you put in per day, per week, or so. So it you for me, I usually give uh, about 4 hours, I would say, and it goes for like 4 weeks or something before we are good to release it.
And so, yeah, that's absolutely amazing to me. That
Actually, it
just
does depend on the research topic as well. So some topics need a lot of protocols to get covered, and
yeah.
some projects need a fewer protocols to get covered. Yeah, it basically depends on the protocol, I would say, more or less.
Yeah, that makes sense then.
Yeah.
So, I mean, has there been one project that you've reviewed that like stands out as one that you really enjoyed reviewing? Was one more challenging than another?
Uh, I would say pretty much all of the projects that were based on yield and leverage were very fascinating to me, because I am always hunting some new novel mechanism that is being built on or that is being launched. So the chicken bond mechanism was new for me, and I got an opportunity to review it as well. Same goes with Cleaver, the funness thing. The CLEV tokens were very fascinating, and I got an opportunity to review those as well.
And
That's
and
great. We can use it for as an like the I don't know how you say it in English, but we can use it to move and talk about what got you into interested in Clever and maybe other Aladdin stuff like concentrator or maybe other stuff that you're aware of. And for sure, we'll be very interested to hear that. I'm sure.
Yeah, so after the chicken bond research, I proposed the rest team that we should go for the CLEV tokens, because there were two CLEV tokens that were going to be released for LP incentives, right? So one was USDC and USD CLEV USD, and another one was CLEV CVX, right? So these were the two things, and Lamares, the reviewers said yes, yeah, we can go for it. So that's how I began researching Clever. Actually, before I approached them, I was reading about Clever.
you know,
Where
my
did you
my
first hear of it? Where did you first learn about Clever, if you remember?
Actually, I do first learn about the Clever or concentrator was from a tweet from Lanero, I guess.
A great way to start.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, it's really funny. When reading the llama risk reports, you know, they can get, there's never any sort of definitive, you know, stay the hell away from this, or this is the riskiest thing. You know, there's no like 0 stars out of 5 or something like that. It's usually a very nuanced, sort of very professional discussion about the protocol as a whole, and it sounds like you guys usually give the protocols like a chance to kind of respond to it. But my favorite thing about the Clever one was I was reading the Llama risk report, and I was like, okay, I think this is like a pretty good risk review. I'm getting kind of the perception, you know, there's only like a couple parameters that need to be changed, and then it was like, I want to say like the next day or something like that after it was released, Deer puts out a tweet and he goes like, "Yeah, clever man, LFG, let's do this." I was like, "Okay, that's a good review." I love it, man. Oh, that's so great. So, have you? That's like another good question I was going to ask. Is sort of like when you guys do these risk review reports.
Hmm.
Do you guys like make sure there's no like conflict of interest or anything like that? And then like even like after you do it, I mean, do you kind of like say, okay, there needs to be like some amount of time that passes before someone can invest in it, or how do you guys approach that?
What do you mean by conflict of interest?
Well, I mean, like if you were like had an investment in one of these protocols that was selected, would
Hmm.
you basically say, oh, okay, I need to like separate myself from this so it doesn't look like I'm trying to pump my own bags or whatever, you know what I mean?
So I don't think so. We do that. So these all risk reports, as far as I know, are without any kind of bias. It can happen that people may I mean, the people are invested in particular protocols, or it might not be a case, right? But the research framework and the dedication that one follows to bring the research report into reality, I don't think so. There is any particular or any kind of bias in bringing that thing up.
I didn't think so. I mean, you guys are really good about disclosures.
Yeah, yeah,
The whole team.
and we are sometimes blunt, right? If we don't think that something makes sense, we do right, we explicitly do right things in the report that okay, this thing doesn't make sense. And actually there was a particular thing in the latest Archimedes report as well. So there was a thing where their calculation made an estimate, and that particular estimate uh, can cut down the realized APY for the user, and that was not publicly showed somewhere. we basically don't give a shit for what protocol thinks we write in our risk report. We need to be transparent as much as possible. Yeah, as much as possible. Yeah.
Well, all of us really
Sure.
appreciate that. We appreciate the frankness and the bluntness. I mean,
Yep.
it needs to be said so that it's not hidden and that people get a clear indication of what the risks are in using these things. And if it's not you guys, like who else is doing it? That's the thing is like there's only so many people that are essentially volunteering to do this. So
Yep.
always greatly
Actually,
appreciated.
one more thing fascinates me about the report with the Clever was that in the Clever report we did mention about the balance between the furnace deposits and the balance between the liquidity deposits, right? So at that particular time when we were researching, we didn't know about a product called ACRV, right? Not ACRV, I guess so. The
ABC, CVX?
yeah, ABCCVX, correct. So we didn't have an idea about that particular product. So actually, I in my particular opinion, what I think is the risk report on Clever was basically a very good thing, I would say, because it predicted that there was a need of this particular product, right? And ABCCVX
Oh,
does the same thing, that it automatically balances the furnace deposit as well as the liquidity pool.
Also, it did really come after it. I think that your report on it was earlier than the release of ABCCVX, at
Yes,
least for the
yes.
public.
Yeah. So at that point when I was researching the protocol, I didn't knew about the product that Clever was planning.
Can I also ask you about when did you learn about the community booster program? Because I know you are. I'm sure that at least on Clever you are a community booster. I'm not sure about if you participated in the content writer program as well, but I'm also interested in knowing how did you hear about it? How did they approach you and when? And what did you feel about it? And also, what do you think about exactly what Kaymet here mentioned? The
Mm-hmm.
fact that, in a way, it does put us in a position of conflict of interest in some way. Because if we are clever holders or people that, for example, getting compensated in any way from a protocol,
Mm-hmm.
disclosing it is a big deal. I don't know if you've seen the recent tweet by Zach XBT yesterday about paid threads that aren't disclosed. And this is now a very big topic of the day. This whole conflict of interest issue.
Yeah. It is an issue for the DeFi space because the threaders do charge people for posting threads. So that's a reality, right? Coming to the part where when I know about the community booster thing, so particularly when I was researching about Clever, I was going through all the Medium articles that were posted by the team, and there was a particular article on this booster thing. So back then, uh, for the research purpose, I was building a Desmos simulator uh, to know, right, if a user should invest uh, by depositing in the furnace, or if the user should invest by depositing in the liquidity pool, which particular venture will be more beneficial for the user. So for this particular Desmos simulator, I talked with Lanero about this, if it will be useful for the users, for their community, and Lanero was very positive about this thing. And this particular simulator I nominated for the Clever Booster thing. And after my research, I built a dashboard for Clever, and that's the second, I would guess. That was the second contribution for the community booster thing.
What was the first one you said? Like a simulator?
Yes, it was a Desmos simulator. So basically, you put in the values that are currently reflected on the project user interface, and and the simulator would spit out if you should be investing by putting your
Oh,
CLEV tokens in the furnace, or if you should be providing LP.
I remember that, and that is, I actually have that bookmarked now that you say that. I just haven't looked at it in forever. Um, not that it's basically just because my tokens are locked in there, and it is what it is. But
Yeah.
man, I remember that. That was an awesome contribution. I love that. I remember seeing that. What was the website? You know what? I'll have to put a link up to that because it's such a great tool.
Yeah.
It's been forever since I looked at it. I'll find it and I'll post it later because yeah, you definitely deserve your recognition for that one. What was the website? What was the tool?
Uh, I guess I'll link it up in the replies after we are finished with the talk.
Yeah, it was something like osmosis or something like that.
Actually, it is I been pinned in the Aladdin DAO contribution. I guess so. I'm not sure.
I'm sure it's there. But it was
Yeah.
fabulous. And
I just
that's
need to
actually
make
like probably like
one thing clear that the research article was not a booster thing.
right. Yeah. No, yeah, that makes I appreciate you saying that, but
Yeah.
I don't think anyone
Yeah, I just need to make it clear. Yes. So there are
yeah,
no assumptions
absolutely.
at the. Yep.
Well, there goes our plan to basically expose you in this interview. So, so okay, this is actually like kind of a good segue to maybe kind of get into the kind of the data science portion of all of your research and everything. Um, um, I'm curious. You've made like some dashboards and then like the simulator, like you said. I'm curious, like even for Llama Risk, like what data collection and analysis tools do you use to review things, or even for your own personal use?
So actually, my data journey began when I was researching for my first, I would say, research on the curve protocol. So it was basically the emission schedule, right? So back then, when I was scrolling Twitter, I used to see a lot of FUD going on based on the CREV emissions, right? And literally nobody knew how the CREV emission work, or what was the end date of emission, and how the emission worked. So I used Excel at that time. I use Excel right now, but it is just that I'm more productive with Excel uh, compared
Man,
to
I
back
tell you
then.
what, that is I don't know if anybody's listened to the community call yesterday, but I was guest hosting with Kruger because some of the other folks were out and I was available,
Mm-hmm.
and he went off on Excel. He does not like Excel at all as a scientist, and he had a lot of. I recommend everybody go listen to it. It's pretty comical because he gets into it. But it's funny to hear you say that you're using Excel for your analysis. So, like, what other tools do you use?
Yeah, I mean Excel. I feel Excel is very flexible, and that's the reason I use it. The other tool is the Dune SQL. That's all. The Dune thing. That's all. The Dune thing for blockchain analysis.
Okay, so just Excel and Dune really then,
Yeah,
huh?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Those are the only. Yeah, yeah, more or less.
So how did you get into to making Dune dashboards? How did that start?
Okay. So I don't think this will surprise you, but I started learning Dune in this December.
This past December?
Yes.
Good gracious, my goodness, that's incredible. And so, did you have a background in working with SQL queries and
Nah,
databases?
No, not to my knowledge. I didn't knew
Oh my God.
anything before December about SQL. I only used Excel. That's all.
And so, well, let me just I have to compliment you on the clever ABC CVX dashboard, because it's honestly one of the not only is the information just really terrific in there, and I linked it in the in the Twitter space
Yeah.
earlier,
Yes.
but
Yes.
it's a very aesthetically pleasing dashboard. Everything's very clear. I was curious, did you have were there other Dune dashboards that that kind of inspired you for how you made it, or if there's other folks that you follow that you're like, oh yeah, you got to follow this person on Dune if you want to make a good dashboard or anything like that, or were you just like, I know exactly how this is going to go and I'm just going to make it up on the fly?
Actually, Dune community do have some of the queries on their docs uh, to go through all the visualization and how to structure your data. So that's one thing. The another thing is the curve and convex dashboard built by Blockworks Research. So I was connected with a guy at Blockworks, SMYY, Dan Smith, and
Oh yeah.
he's very inspiring. He's very inspiring guy, and he told me that if you want to excel at research thing, you should have a knowledge about operating with blockchain data. That's the one thing that inspired me. Another thing was uh, I got introduced to Crypto Condom, and he introduced me to the guy at the tie. So the tie is basically a big research firm that looks into blockchain data for industrialized players. And so he's Jack Malinik actually, and he's currently business dev, I guess so, for Polygon Labs right now. So he also insisted me that uh, since you are very good at research, you should pursue learning how blockchain data works and what all things you can do with the data. So these two were very inspiring, and that's how I switched from pursuing full research to learning Dune as well.
That's man, it's incredible, and man, it's amazing the amount of connections that you have made in the time that you've been in this space.
Yeah,
And
my connection.
kudos to you. It's tough.
I don't think connection is everything right now. Connection is I would give 100% credits to where I am to my connections. That's all.
Yeah, no, and it sounds like you've met some really fabulous people that have been very helpful
Yeah.
in kind of giving you some guidance. Um, Man, this, so I've looked at your clever concentrator, the Clev CVX ABCV CVX board so much. It's just so full of data. I'm curious, when you built it,
Hmm.
and it's just an assimilation of just tons of data. Was there anything that stood out to you that surprised you from all this data?
So at the time of querying, it is just like what all data should I be querying, right? And once the query
Mm-hmm.
is okay and I have data in front, some spikes or some sudden changes do excite me, and I tend to dig into it deeper. So why did this particular metric spiked, or why did this particular metric dipped?
Yeah, I guess I'm kind of putting you on the spot in terms of, because I didn't give you time to prep for that or whatever. But I'm not a scientist myself. I'm actually an engineer,
Mm-hmm.
and so I sort of look at data as I'm never trying to formulate new things. I'm trying to just basically take things that have worked in the past and just throw them together. and make it work for whatever purpose is necessary at the time. So I'm always kind of curious, like when I see something like this, like how do they know to do the watching of these whale wallets or things like that. It's always kind of like pretty fascinating to me, and because you can definitely get like overwhelmed with the amount of data, and so like
Yeah.
I guess like parsing it down into something that's like usable and that you can like draw conclusions from, it always seems like to be the main challenge. I'm kind of curious if you think the same.
Yeah, I do think like what you told. So what my philosophy in arranging the data and structuring it is, I usually start with very basic data. So what all metric do people see, right? What is the contract hold? How much is a particular wallet holding, or what is the holding of a particular contract, right? And from that particular point, I try to build layers after layers. So the methodology is I use to ask myself, okay, I got this particular data. Now, how do I use it? I mean, what sense does it make if I visualize this data, or if I provide this particular data, right? If I only provide TVL data, it doesn't make any sense, right? Because I have nothing to reference it from. So I need to put something else as well to draw some concrete conclusion from a particular chart or from a particular visualization. So that's how. So I built from very basic, and then I tried putting on layers and making it complex yet easy to understand, and pull conclusions from them.
Well, man, you totally nailed it. You totally nailed it with the dashboards that I've seen so far. So kudos to you, sir,
Yeah, thanks.
for making very accessible data that people can find practical and useful, and aesthetically pleasing too. That makes a big difference. And it's just amazing. I'm curious, like, do you have any other dashboards you're going to be making in the future that you're thinking about?
Yeah, actually, I am thinking about extending this particular uh, dashboard to show data on CLEV token as well. Right, that's the one point, and I am also thinking about building something related to concentrator as well, because I haven't built anything on concentrator yet, but I have it on my list from a long time.
Yeah, that one's been missing. I've never seen a concentrator specific dashboard on Dune that I felt was very useful, or that I could that you could really grasp something from the data that was useful. So I look forward to whatever your attempt is, and I know the A-Team's looking forward to it as well. We'd love to feature your dashboards here in the future in newsletters, and if you ever cook up any sort of cool insights or anything in regards to Landau projects, man, let us know. So
Yeah, man, for sure.
so this is awesome. So let me look at my questions here, see if there's anything else to go over here. I'm kind of curious, just DeFi in general, just I mean, like your time in the space. I mean, I assume you're bullish on it. Are you here for the long haul?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, cool. And
Bullish but
so
underwater.
huh?
Bullish but underwater.
Oh man, yeah. Well, I hope we all make it to the bull market. I think we are. And DeFi Advisor or Crypto Profit, you guys got any other thoughts here?
Nothing in particular. For sure, we'll be happy to see if Crypto Profit has anything to say. Yet I will just say that honestly, DiligentDeer, it was very nice talking to you and quite an honor. and quite surprising, honestly, to learn some of the stuff, like for example, how new you are into the space, and to really see like just like your name, man, you are a diligent deer, man. Simply, it's quite magnificent, and thank you very much for your time and for all the stuff you do. And looking forward to see how we can interact and do stuff in the future as well.
Yeah, man. Thanks. I would say it is honor for me as well talking with you guys on the panel, because I would say this is my very first Twitter space.
Oh, nice.
Really?
Yeah,
That's cherry.
yeah. Yeah.
That's a damn shame, sir. You should be on many more. You're a fabulous guest, full of advice and wonderful to talk to.
Yeah.
I actually
Thanks.
maybe still have 2 questions for DiligentDeer before we go, if it's possible.
Yeah,
Uh,
man, fire at will.
I think the first one is like a bit like broad DeFi and risk analysis based.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Mm-hmm.
like you said something like the first thing you do is look at where the risk is and if that's being compensated correctly and stuff. And I think this is really interesting because also if there would not be a risk, but a protocol is like incentivizing it, then they're actually just burning money. So this will basically never happen. So I think it's a good starting point to look at like, okay, what are they incentivizing? What risk does this carry? And that's why they incentivize it. And it like builds an entire picture from there, I think.
Yeah.
But like when you look at like all of DeFi, like what are like the most common risks? Is it then probably just like somehow the LP pool that's like incentivized and like, like convex curve pegs type stuff? Or like what's the often things that you see kind of?
Yeah. One of the most repetitive risk is the protocol might die tomorrow. That's the biggest
Yeah,
risk, and
definitely.
and it is constant everywhere, right?
Yeah.
Another constant risk for our research subjects are, so basically we are researching for the liquidity providers, right? So there are high chances on a liquidity pool facing impermanent loss, right? So this particular loss is also a constant, and we need to probe it very well to make comments on this particular topic. And yeah, that's more or less it. And the protocol tokens. That's all. So these are the only constant risks, and beside the smart contract risk, obviously.
Yeah, okay, that's pretty clear. And
Yeah.
then maybe if you look at like specifically Clever and maybe Concentrator, like now that there's also ABC convex and stuff, how do you feel about it? Like, do you see this as still risky or not? I didn't read the report. I'm sorry about Clever, but I also hear it's kind of outdated now that we have ABC CVX. So I figured I'd maybe ask you directly.
Hmm. So I would say whenever a protocol adds layer to their products, there is kind of increases because there are more contracts involved, and there are uncertainties on the market side as well, like how would the market react, right? And if there are any loopholes that someone can manipulate on the market side, so someone like Avi Eisenberg maybe can take an advantage of loose market conditions, I would say.
No, he's in jail. It's fine.
But yeah, I
No,
do
I
agree.
know
I
what
do
you
agree. I do agree.
I know what you
But
mean.
there are many Avi Eisenberg that we don't see, right, in everyday life.
Yeah, true.
Yep.
In the shadows.
Well, man,
Yeah, okay.
you got anything
Sorry.
else, Crypto Profit?
Yeah, I just want to like maybe this is too personal. Maybe you don't want to do this because of like also being in this risk team and stuff. But like from what I've heard now on those previous 2 questions, and also I kind of started to space with it, but saying like I really like Curve as like kind of a hedge on government, you could say, not on
Mm-hmm.
governance, but on government,
Mm-hmm.
And what do you personally also like And I think you also invest. I think I heard it, but like, do you choose also like for longevity then, or what's like your investment thesis from all of your experience? Because I think everybody listening to this space has some bags, but
Yeah.
probably zero people have really good risk security. Risk security. So I'm curious how you approach it. You know?
So what what I see in this particular space is everything is more or less a Ponzi, right? So if you are promised
Agreed.
more return, if you are promised more return for a less amount of money or for a less amount of time, your spidey senses should activate, right? And if you are encountering a Ponzi protocol, you better be first at it and not the last one. That's the only thing I think that can make money.
Not financial
Yeah.
advice.
Of course, not financial advice, of course.
No, but I really think this is a really good point because also with me being in crypto for a while, I like really I bought some ETH before there were apps on ETH, you know what I mean? So it's like I really waited a long time to get like DeFi and I do feel like 99.9% or something is like somehow somewhat p-word schemy, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like for example, when yield farming first started and you got like incentivized to LP, I was just like, yeah, but you're just getting poor compensation with high market beta for your guaranteed impermanent loss, actually. So it's like,
Yes.
I don't know. And then those bags pumped and everybody was like, hey, prof, DeFi is a thing. And I was like, no, policies are a thing. This is not what I want yet, to be honest.
Yeah, actually,
So no, yeah, I think it's fair.
yeah, something like that did happen to me as well. So, uh, when I started yield farming, there was very much hype on beefy, right? Everyone was going after beefy, putting your money on beefy. So back at that
Yeah.
time, I was a pure newbie in yield farming. So I don't know anything else than what to look besides the percentage and the TVL, right? So I smoked my money in a deal where I was supposed to get more than 1,000% APY, but eventually I lost money in that in that particular venture.
Yeah,
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 and that
yeah. I can imagine. I can actually imagine.
yeah, and after that point, I particularly never invested in something that I didn't know.
You know, one day we're gonna have to have a Twitter space where we all like maybe it'll be like a happy hour or something where we all talk about like the most degen like
I
move we've made in DeFi because I think I could probably win.
I don't
Don't
know,
be
man.
so sure, man. Don't be so sure.
Today I
We
bought.
got Profit here. I'm pretty sure Profit's gonna win it, actually.
Yeah, listen what I did today, guys. Today I bought 500 units of coins of a 10K market cap shitcoin.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
This was today,
confirm.
So it's
yeah.
like super degen.
I once got on Phantom and I got into some liquidity pool on Beefy Finance that was pumping out returns at it was something like 4 sextillion%. And it was
wow.
like I just did it. I just did it just so I could say like I was like farming it some sextillion%. It was ridiculous. I don't even know what happened to the protocol. I think it's dead now, but it was like it was stupid.
Yeah, definitely.
I guess Olympus was also providing a huge amount of APY, right, in the early days.
It
Yeah,
was, and you know what's interesting about that is they actually talk about that in their white paper. And I don't know how many people have read the white paper, but they actually talk about like, if the price of this went down to like, $2, and it was like at $1,800, at that time, the Ohm tokens.
Yeah.
If it goes down to $2, it's just APY. 2 years from now, you're still ahead of the game. And I was like, I guess that makes sense. And I'll be damned if like that did not happen exactly like they said. So I don't know if anybody got like held them for that long, but I mean they definitely spelled out what was going to happen. It wasn't a surprise. So
Guys, I'm gonna put Tao up. I see he's requested to talk. I want him to
oh
join
yeah,
us. Okay?
let me see here. He's What's up, Tal?
Hey guys, just want to say hi to you guys. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Hello,
Well,
sir.
thanks
Nice
for
to see you.
popping in,
Hey,
man.
Tal.
Hey guys.
Well, we're glad you're here, Tal. What's the most degen?
Wait, I can see that we even have Curve Cap in the
Yeah,
house.
because you
Let's
you guys said Olympus, so
let's do something about it. Curve Cap, we've just learned that you are the one introducing the man himself, DiligentDeer, to the Llama Risk team.
Yeah, man. He's the god. He's the god for my career trajectory in the DeFi.
He's the goat of the space.
Yep.
Let's see if we can invite him. Maybe Kemet, maybe you can send an invitation there.
Let me see here. Let's see if he's available to just pop in and say hello and tell us how inspired he's been by Diligent Deer. We'll see what happens, but yeah, no.
If you're on the phone and you want, you can just request to speak, and we'll have you on for sure. We're trying to send the invite, but I don't really see it going through. Anyway, Tao, nice to see you here. Sorry, I was just excited about seeing some of the guys here in the space. It's very nice to have this like a community feel, and apologize.
Yeah, I guess we're a little, we've been going on for a little over an hour now, so I just try to be respectful of everybody's time. But man, Diligent Deer, it was awesome having you on, man. Like, you are truly a giga brain of the DeFi space. Your talents are very much appreciated, sir. We're gonna have to do this again. Like, I feel like there's just so much here for us to talk about. You're just a truly engaging speaker and just a wealth of knowledge and a lot of insight. And we're going to have to talk a lot more about the most degen activities we've done on Curve or wherever else in the world. So
Yeah. For sure.
appreciate
For
your
sure.
time, sir. Thanks for jumping on. We're looking forward to featuring some of your dashboards and data in newsletters and whatnot for the Ateam, and we appreciate everything you do for crypto, DeFi, and Aladdin DAO, sir.
Yeah. Actually, I do think I have a lot of things to you know know in this particular DeFi ecosystem. So always keep getting the learnings down the way.
Well, you're doing a bang up job, man. Keep it up. We appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure.
For sure, and very nice having you on, and
Yeah.
very nice to have you guys on as well. Thanks a lot, Kemet. I think you did a brilliant job hosting it, and thanks a lot, Prophet, as well. And for the listeners, and Curve by the way, shout out to Wajahat as well. Nice to see you here, sir. See your content online a lot. And Curve by the way, I think the guys we will be very happy to also have you on whenever you feel like it. So if you still hear this, we'll be very excited to have you as a guest sometime on the Ateam space. So very nice to see you here. And Kemet, Prophet, if you have anything to add, for me it's really amazing. Really enjoyed the space. Really liked it. And great job, Prophet, with scheduling Diligent Deal. And very nice to have you on, sir. Quite an honor. Respect your work and looking forward to see what you come up with to next.
Yeah, absolutely. I echo all that. Yeah, Curve Cap, you're more than welcome, sir. Whenever you like, whenever your schedule allows for it. And yeah, thanks to Crypto Profit for getting this set up. And again, Diligent Deer, it's been all our pleasure, sir. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Thank you to all of the speakers and the listeners as well. And thank you for hosting and inviting me to have a talk.
Absolutely. Thanks, everybody. Yeah. We'll catch you later. This will be recorded, so we'll post it in the Discord and on Twitter as well. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Take care.
Okay, bye.
Goodbye. Thanks.
Bye.
Thanks, Diligent Deer.
Yeah.